Hi everyone, my name is Natalie. Today I wanted to do sort of a currently reading video, or a Wednesday reads video I guess. I wanted to talk about the two books that I finished in December so far, and to talk about the books I'm planning to read tonight for Christmas cozy reading night. First of all, I'm sort of thinking that instead of a mid-month wrap-up, I would talk about the two books that I finished in the month so far, and then sort of in the beginning of next year talk about the books that I read during my holiday, because today is the first day of my winter holiday. I'm so pleased that the term is over. It's not technically over because I still have work to do over the holiday, but I'm planning to take a few days completely off and then sort of get back into studying. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can read a lot during these upcoming weeks, and I'm thinking that I probably will try to do sort of a wrap up for the holidays. And yeah, so basically I just wanted to first of all briefly talk about the two books that I finished in December so far. Both of them are related to Cloaks and Dagger Christmas, which is a readathon hosted by Kate Howe, Kate from the Novel Nomad, and Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures. And the first one I read for that is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is, I think, the 10th book in the Hercule Poirot series, which I'm really enjoying. And this book, it has all of the traits of a typical Poirot mystery. You get the typical sort of the structure of the novel follows the usual mysteries, which can be frustrating sometimes because they have a very expected structure. The order of things, Poirot always says that he likes to do things very systematically, very orderly, and because of that the novels take the same form, which can be slightly tedious to read, especially if you're already starting to be suspicious of someone and you still have to sort of go through the motions of him talking to every suspect one at a time. So some of the traits in this are typical Poirot mystery stuff, and some of them are fun traits, and some of them are just sort of things that that you just have to sort of accept with Christie's writing style. But this, the Murder on the Orient Express, takes place in a train where people from all over the all classes, of all kinds of backgrounds, and from all over the world are traveling together, and a murder happens within the train, and because of that it's a locked mystery because or a locked room mystery, because the man died in his own compartment, or in his own room in the train. So it's a very fun setup, and the ending of this book is one of the best I've seen Christie do. So while it has all of the flaws that most Poirot mysteries has, and it has one thing that makes it quite different, in that Hastings is not there and no one else is really telling the story. Instead you're seeing everything through a third-person narrative style, and so you actually see Poirot alone in this book, and I haven't seen that done in the books that I have read from Christie so far, so it was an interesting and new perspective for me. But the ending was what really sold me on this book, so it was a lot of fun, and definitely one of the more memorable endings and conclusions to a Poirot mystery I've come across so far. The other one I have just finished is The Interpretation of Murder by Jed Rubenfeld. I actually just randomly stumbled upon this in a secondhand bookshop, and I thought that it sounded like fun. So it's set in Manhattan in 1909, so it's a historical murder mystery, and during this time there's a lot of like big changes going on in the city. Telephones are becoming a thing. It's a very recent thing. The Manhattan Bridge is under construction, and there's big changes going on in the city, and in technology and things like that, and also in terms of social and historical context. It's a time of change, and sort of a time of new ideas ideas and new theories. And the novel starts off with Freud and Jung and someone else coming to the US for they're planning to do lectures in a university about psychoanalysis, and Freud and some of the other characters, real historical figures, are part of solving the murder mystery. So the thing that sold me on wanting to read this book was because of Freud being part of a murder mystery sounded like too much fun to pass up. He isn't actually that vital to the murder mystery, I think, because while he is part of the book, and a lot of the book is about psychoanalysis and about sort of, there's another doctor who is sort of a disciple of Freud, and he is a very important character in the book, and he uses some of Freud's theories to help solve the murders. Historical context is what really made this an enjoyable experience for me. I think that the murder, some of the details in the murder mystery isn't really that it's not really very original or unique, but the historical context was very new to me. I don't think I've ever read any books set in this time, at least not in the US, I don't think, and certainly not with so much rich background to the context, because Rubenfeld does really give you a lot of like details about the historical context and what was really going on exactly in that time. He's done a lot of research, and you can really tell that through the setting, and that is something that I really enjoyed in this. The Freud aspect I thought was fun, but I also was again reminded of the fact that I don't like psychoanalysis, and the parts that sort of dealt with that more directly I didn't like. I also didn't like some of the ways that both the female characters were portrayed and dealt with, and their storylines, how they developed. The talk around women's power and the abuse of women. There were a few things that put me off slightly of this book that had nothing to do with the actual murder mystery, or the historical context was, as I said, really enjoyable. But there were a few things, especially to do with the female characters, that I didn't like so much. Not in a way that they were dislikable, some of them, or most of the female characters were dislikable, but that wasn't my problem. It was more the motivation of them and how they talked and everything. And it feels like this book is very much written from a male perspective. So yeah, I did really enjoy it. It was a very entertaining read. I had some issues with it along the way, even with the writing style, and there's sometimes a tendency to tell a lot of details about context, which, as I said, I still enjoyed the historical aspect of it, so it didn't really bother me, but the way that it was told sometimes could be a bit clunky. Just a lot of fun, although, as I said, I have my reservations about it. Those are the two books that I've read in December so far, so obviously not a lot of them. I'm hoping that I can read more during the winter holidays, as I said, but the books that I'm planning to read for a Cosy reading night tonight. So Lauren at Lauren and the Books is doing Cosy reading nights, I think once every season, and I've been wanting to join in for a while, but they've just never really fit in with my schedule. So this time she has themed it as a Christmas Cosy reading night. I will link her announcement and TBR video in the description, so you have more of the details, but basically it's 3 hours to read in one evening and just cozying up, and I just really love the idea, and I've wanted to join in for a while. So tonight I am planning to read The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is one of the books that I put on my Cloaks and Dagger Christmas TBR, and it is gonna be my 6th book of Shirley Jackson, so it's the second to last novel I have to read of hers, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. I have been wanting to watch the Netflix adaptation since it came out, and even though I've heard that you don't necessarily have to have read the book because they're quite different, I'm still the kind of person who wants to read the book first, and that is especially true for Shirley Jackson, who's one of my favorite writers. So yes, I've been saving this for when I have more time to really dedicate to it. So the only thing I know really about this is that it's set in a haunted house, and I've just read the first few pages and sort of setting the scene of this. These strangers sharing the haunted house, and things are probably going to go awfully wrong in the house. That's all I know, but that's all I need to know because Shirley Jackson, as I said, is one of my favorite writers. So this is very high on my to get to, and I had already sort of decided to pick this up immediately when my holidays started, so this is perfect for tonight. The other book that I'm also planning to start tonight is Wundersmith by Jessica Townsend. This is the second book in the Nevermore series, or the Trials of Morgan Crow series. I'm not sure which is the official series name, but the first book opens up with Morgan Crow, who is, I think, 11 years old. She is taken to another dimension where there is magic, and she is put through a few trials to get into this fantastic society called the Wonder Society. And in the second book we follow her, I think, as she has just gotten into the society. And I really enjoy the first book. I read it, actually listened to the audiobook of it in October, I think, and really enjoy the audiobook. The audiobook is amazing, so if you haven't tried the audio versions of these books, I would highly recommend you do so. But yeah, I love the audiobook of the first one, and I wanted to pick up the second book in the series immediately, but I especially wanted to listen to the audio, so I was waiting for that to come out. And I've wanted to listen to it since then, but again, I've sort of been saving it for my holiday. Somehow I just feel like the cover of this book makes me think of Christmas, so I've sort of saved it for when I'm free and I have more time to really just kind of I don't know, relax, I guess, is the main thing. Since it is cozy reading night, I will probably try to make some mulled wine for the cozy reading night. I'm not big on eating or snacking while I'm reading, but I am planning to listen to the audiobook of Wundersmith, as I said, and I'm planning to start this jigsaw puzzle because I'm a big nerd, and I've been saving this for my holiday. Probably I decided about 5 weeks ago that I was so gonna be doing this over the winter holiday. It's a 1,500 piece puzzle, and I've as I said, I've been saving it for a while, and especially been thinking about it the last couple of weeks. And yeah, I had already decided to do this puzzle over the winter holiday, and I thought it would be perfect to work on as I start listening to the audiobook, to have something to do with my hands, because I find listening to an audiobook and doing something sort of like knitting or like doing a jigsaw puzzle doesn't require too much of my brain, so I can still focus on the book, but keeps me busy enough to be active enough to listen to the audiobook. So yeah, planning to start this jigsaw puzzle, probably not going to finish it tonight, but yeah, that is something cozy for me to do, I think, and also I could probably drink my mulled wine as I'm doing that, because again, hands-free with audiobooks, which is a good thing. And last up on my cozy reading night TBR is Winter Birds by Lars. Jonsson. This is a Swedish nature writing book, and I mentioned it in my most recent book haul. It is basically a book about winter birds, and it is stunningly illustrated. So I talked about it in, as I said, the book haul, and I showed you a photograph of it, but now I have the physical copy, and I will be showing you a little bit of the inside. So you have some sketches more like this. And then you have these kind of things. So it's one of the most stunning books I've ever seen, to be honest. And I love birds, and I love winter birds especially, so I think I've read the first chapter of this earlier in December, so I'm hoping that I can read a little bit of this tonight. So those are the things that I've been reading recently and that I'm planning to read tonight. Are you planning to participate in Christmas cozy reading night? I would love to hear what you're planning to read if you are, and I would love to hear what you've been reading recently and really enjoying, and if you're also participating in Cloak and Dagger Christmas. I hope you're having a really good evening, and I will talk to you soon.